Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have a very interesting article here, and it seems like the Ukrainian counteroffensive, which is not at the same intensity as it was at the beginning of September, it's still going on. And it seems like the Russians are losing terrain, land that they conquered, liberated, occupied, however you want to call it. So let's see what this article is talking about. This article is coming from Fox News from September 23rd, 2022. Ukrainian forces push into Donetsk, fighting Russia for territory it considers essential to win. Russia considers this territory essential to win. The UK intelligence says, okay, well, it must be true. So let's see what these guys are saying. Ukrainian forces have pushed into Russian-occupied area in northern Donetsk in a move the UK Defense Ministry on Friday said is putting pressure on territory Russia considers essential to its war aims, end quote. Now I have a few questions here. If there's a referendum right now, which it is from the 27th to the 23rd to the 27th of September. Now, let's say this is Donetsk right here, and the Russians conduct this referendum and they say, yeah, this is it, we're going to be ours. But in the meantime, the Ukrainians conquered this much through this counteroffensive. They're right here. When the Russians are going to say, okay, now this Donetsk is ours, voted, right, referendum to be Russia from now on, what are we doing with these people here? Are the Russians going to just draw a line here and say, this is our demarcation and you guys don't even attack? Because otherwise these guys are on the Russian territory, fighting, pushing forward. So that the Russians could consider those forces and that attack right on their territory. Therefore, may I say it, they can nuke them according to their doctrine of self-defense and territorial integrity, and when the state is threatened and all that. They can bend however they want that. So what are they going to do with these guys? So it's very tricky. That's why probably Russians, one of the reasons Russia conducts this referenda right now. So they can say, well, you are on our territory right now. These guys, the people living in those regions, oblasts, they determined, they won, they voted. So now you're either out or we're going to nuke you. And then what? That's an opportunity, that's an option, that's a scenario. So, fighting in the northern Donetsk has been described as ongoing as Ukrainian forces launch a counteroffensive on the town of Liman, which Russia has occupied since May. Liman is roughly 30 miles east of Izium, in the northeastern region of Kharkiv, where Ukrainian troops saw major gains this month by retaking the majority of the occupied territory and forcing Russian soldiers to retreat. Hey, they didn't retreat, they regrouped. Ukraine announced control over the entire region west of the Oxil River, where territory remains contested from eastern Kharkiv through the Luhansk regions. And I'm quoting, Russia attempted to integrate the Oxil into a consolidated defense line following its forces' withdrawal earlier in this month, the UK Defense Ministry said Friday. I think we should never listen to what the Ukrainians are telling us anymore, because I think the UK, the guys know better than them, because I think they plan for them. They are the architects of the war against Russia, or whatever you want to call that, special operation. I think they just say, okay, you shush, Ukrainians, let us take over here. I mean, why should we go like this, straight? Okay, so it says that, however, over the last 3 days, Ukrainian forces have, quote-unquote, secured bridgeheads on the east bank of the dividing river, suggesting they could be in a better position to retake the rest of Kharkiv before advancing into Luhansk. The ministry's announcement comes as Russia launches referendums in Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye and Kherson, despite intense fighting in all four regions. Yeah, and then when you're going to find your armies being on the territory of Russia, then Russians say, well, we're not going to use our army anymore. We're just going to use a few bombs or missiles. We'll see. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's not impossible. I would give it a 60% chance to happen. Kharkiv was previously listed as one of the regions Russia intended to annex. Western officials have condemned Moscow's push to illegally seize Ukrainian territory by holding what they have called sham elections in eastern and southern Ukraine. Why are they sham? From what I read, it was about, or there are about 1,000 observers over there. Foreigners. Why is it a sham? Because you are not involved in it? Was Russia involved in Kosovo's declaration of freedom, liberty, and so on? Was it? I don't think so. And many other countries. So why only what you decree as legitimate is, but these guys, they can claim those areas as historically theirs. What are they going to do about it? Call it differently? So you see, it's a lot of, when I say sham, it's just because they are not the ones conducting what they did before. These guys, however you want to take it, this Ukrainian thing is being done before by the guys that now don't like it. And they call these guys sham, criminals, invaders, unprovoked, illegal, and all that. They did it before, not too long ago. Okay? Not one time, many times. Anyway, it says here that voting, quote unquote, will begin Friday, today, and polling stations will be opened Tuesday. According to Russia state-owned media outlet RIA, the question on the ballot will allegedly read, do you, what I mean allegedly, it's Friday, you got your hand, and over there right now is at about 8 hours, so right now is, let's say 4:30, 8 hours, it's already done, right? The day is bye-bye. So you should have your little claw on it, on one of these questionnaires, don't you? Someone took a picture, send it to you. You should know exactly. I mean, you know where Putin sleeps. You know how many missiles they have, how many people died and all that, but you don't know what's on the free that you can pick up the little questionnaire, really. Okay, yeah, allegedly. Do you support, I'm reading, do you support secession from Ukraine, formation of the region as an independent state, and joining Russia? I think it's clear and straightforward. Preliminary results will reportedly be released on Tuesday and Wednesday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the election as a farce, and Western officials have repeatedly pointed to the similar step Russia took during its 2014 invasion of Crimea. And the Russians point out to Kosovo. So shut up, basically. So we'll see what happens with what's going to happen with those Ukrainian troops on the Russian territory once these guys were going to vote for. I have a gut feeling that that's what's going to be the result of those referenda. What's going to happen with those? They will say, oh, we are no trespassing here. We are on private property. We're going to go back. I don't think so. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.